Welcome back to another flashlight review, and this time we're going to be talking about the Skilhunt M300, which I haven't yet checked out. And you might notice this pile of other flashlights from Skilhunt. Now I have requested that they send these to me, and I'll tell you exactly why in just a second. So let's talk briefly about Skilhunt. Every time I've asked these guys for something, they have been super accommodating. And they gave all of these flashlights basically with no strings attached. What I wanted was something that I could give to people that I felt confident would work for someone who is 9 years old or 99 years old. And something that they could carry easily without having to change the way they do things. And this was the only flashlight that I could come up with. And the cool part is that they make this not only in a cool white variant, but also in a high CRI variant. And I haven't tried this one yet, so we'll be checking this out a little bit later. But the cool white, this thing has a maximum of 1100 candela and 180 lumens. That's pretty good for something so tiny. In fact, this is smaller than the keychain flashlight from Olight at exactly the same price or even less. And very similar stats. In fact, I did a comparison with this and Olight at some point, and I gotta say, I think this one is the winner. I'm actually really excited to make this part of a second video where we make, let's call it an EDC goodie bag for anyone. We'll get to that at some point, but for now, let's just focus on the M300. Now, when I checked out the M200, I was impressed, like super impressed. First of all, it could use CR123 batteries in addition to the 18650. I was just really impressed. It seemed to me much more versatile than some of the other flashlights out there. And I feel like just like the comparison with the Baton 3 Pro, I think that this can kind of compete with the Baton 3 Pro Max. So there is almost a direct one-to-one comparison between these two brands, except for the fact that Skilhunt don't use proprietary batteries, which means you can use any 21700 in this flashlight. So let me go ahead and take this apart first. The first thing we'll need to do is take off this little piece, and we'll pull out the battery while we're at it. Standard 5000 milliamp hours. But I just want to see if this is a protected or unprotected cell. That's all I want to see with protection circuit. Okay, so it's a protected 21700, and actually most of the 21700s you get are going to be protected. Now this variant does not have 3000 lumens. This is the high CRI version. Let's see, which one is this? Aha, yeah, it's this one right here. It's the high CRI variant, and it has 1900 lumens, which frankly I'm okay with. This is the highest rated variant, the XHP 50.2. So I'm okay with that. I actually prefer the high CRI variant, and I have other more defensive oriented flashlights that would be better to have as being non-high CRI. So pocket clip, one position, but has reversible nature, so that's cool. Does not have magnetic tail, but that actually kind of makes sense with a light this heavy. Sometimes they don't stay, and then you drop a very large flashlight somewhere you don't want to drop it. So let's go ahead and turn this thing on. So it's a very similar user interface to many of the others you know. So if you hold press, you'll get moonlight mode. So that's the lowest output. If I double press, I'll get turbo, which is going to be 1900 lumens here. Not bad. If I single press, I'll get a mode memorized mode. There should be 3, 1, 2, and 3. And what's kind of neat about this light that's a little bit different is there are actual programmable outputs at the top. So in the turbo, if I double press and then I double press again, wait, oh yeah, it's hold. That's right. You can see the two different outputs. That's the difference between 1900 lumens and 800 lumens. That's kind of how you could swap between them. So you can choose which one you want when you press that button. And the same thing goes with the medium output. You can switch between 160 and 40. So there's a lot more variety to this than other flashlights. So really cool. 200 hours runtime at max, actually even more at the 1 lumen mark. It doesn't even rate how many hours. I'm sure it's far more than 200. But yeah, pretty awesome as far as that's concerned. And it's nice that they actually list everything on the back without anything missing. The funny thing about this flashlight, you know what? Hold on one second. Let me just pull this out real quick so I have all those other flashlights in this rollout. Now this is actually something I haven't reviewed yet by Roaring Fire, but it's been working pretty well for a lot of different applications, one of which is keeping flashlights together. So this is the other 21700 they have, and here are the smaller variants. Let me just pull some of them out here. Yeah, there we go. Away. So I have been incredibly impressed with the lineup from Skilhunt. In fact, it might be the most complete so far. Every time they add a flashlight, it seems to fill a gap, and I've been really, really impressed. Now, one thing I need to read up on, and I will check just here in a minute, is if it has the hidden feature that is true for this one, which is the EC300. So different design. You see quad emitter, very, very floody on this one, about 3000 lumens, but very, very floody, versus the beam on the E300. It's also going to be a wider flashlight, so it definitely has a dimensional difference. But the one thing that I really, really, really liked about this one is that it has reverse charging, meaning it can function as a power bank. I don't think it's going to be the case here. And the reason is because this actually has the magnetic charging system. But unlike some of the other magnetic charging systems, that doesn't stop you from taking the battery out of the flashlight, putting it in a bay charger like you would any other, flashlight, and then putting it back. It's just a bonus. And unlike a Type-C charging port, which can fail because of the rubber gasket, this is simply not going to fail. My only issue with these have ever been, and this is true for all of them, is that it's because they are on opposite sides, you sometimes want to press what is not the actual button. Now, I tend to press them kind of simultaneously so it doesn't end up being an issue, and you could certainly feel the difference, but maybe with gloves, that might be more difficult. That's just something to keep in mind. Now, the E200 is probably a little bit better as an EC, only for a couple of reasons. Number one, it has a magnetic base, which I really, really like. And it also has the ability to reverse the clip. So if you wanted to have it like I have it right here, this is the only part that's exposed, this one piece of metal. Whereas in the M300 here, you don't have the option to reverse the clip. Now that could be because of how much more of the tail is extending past the pocket clip. So I don't think they necessarily made a bad choice, just kind of the nature of using a larger battery type. More than that, it's just a matter of testing it and seeing how well it functions. There's going to be people who do independent reviews of this in a more quantitative way. If you want to check over at either Zero Air or One Lumen, I'll put a link to both of their websites down below. Occasionally they will do really in-depth reviews of these types of flashlights. They've done it for a number of these other Skilhunt flashlights, and I would imagine they will for this as well. It's another really, really good offering from them. And the only question I have left, pretty much, is just price. Hold on a second. All right, so this is coming in at $66 on their website, but you get 6% coupon if you use the discount code, and you get a free small keychain flashlight as well. Not the one that I showed earlier in this video, but a standard AAA. So that's not bad. That's not bad. Very, very competitive in the market. But for my money, if I was going to pick between these two, the easy winner is the EC300. Now, I've reviewed this in the past, but one of the coolest things about this light is it actually has different color auxiliary emitters, and they're really, really bright. So you can actually use them as separate flashlights. This, in addition to the Type-C charging and reverse charging, I think I like this one a little bit better. Very, very similar in price. This one is going to access a much brighter LED if you choose that option. But with the way I have it set up, where both of these are high CRI, I'm probably much more likely to carry this one, even though it's slightly ever so slightly larger. Anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on the whole thing. Really, really, really good products coming out of Skilhunt. In fact, I think they keep going out of stock on Amazon. I will put a link to all of these down below when I can, but they're phenomenal. And you can always get them from their website. You're probably gonna get a better rate. You just need to wait a little bit longer. I also want to note that this particular model, the E2A, which I've talked about also in the past, they have since upgraded it. So even if you see it on Amazon with the old pocket clip, which was terrible, this new model, not only does it come with a new pocket clip, it comes built in with the rechargeable 14500 if you choose that option. So definitely a flashlight worth looking at. They make actually a very, very, very good lineup. But I think the one that takes the cake is probably going to end up being this keychain light. It's, other than the Rovivon, which is kind of a different type of light, I think this might be the perfect keychain flashlight for just about everyone, which is why I asked them to send me a whole bunch more. So big thank you to them. Another awesome flashlight. But yeah, this is one of the few, I think, actually the only one in their lineup that really feels redundant a little bit with the EC300. Let me know down in the comments which one you would choose and why based on what you've seen so far. Feel free to take a look at the links directly to their website and they can kind of give you more information as well. Anyway, thanks again for your time and we'll talk again soon.